Hey, we got a jam-packed show this week as we're going to be talking a lot of preps. Plus, we are also talking to Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana. That's right, that's all coming up. But the headlines brought to us by the Red Zone on Regent Street. Up next on the Sports News right here on Channel 57 Sports. Hello and welcome to the Sports News, your 30-minute look into the tackles, hits, checks, and dunks that make up the local sports scene. I'm your host, Rich Reynolds. Let's hit the ground running. Well, a rainy Friday the 13th did to the local sports schedule what Jason Voorhees does to camp counselors. But it didn't wash away the Madison Radicals and Chicago Wildfire. The Radicals were looking to improve to 4-0 on the season and also win their 25th straight home game. After spotting Chicago a 2-0 lead, the Radicals got busy and opened up a 12-6 lead at the half en route to an 18-11 win. The offensive showing was highlighted by circus catches from Dave Wiseman and Matt Weber. If winning on Friday wasn't enough, the Rads turned around and beat Detroit in Michigan on Saturday. Madison's now 5-0 and in first place. The rain did push back the WIAC baseball championships that were supposed to get underway on Friday night at Copeland Park in La Crosse. UW La Crosse, the winner of the regular season title, trying to close out a tournament title with wins over UW Whitewater. Both teams are expected to make it to the NCAA D3 tournament, which begins this week. Another day and another record for Wisconsin Badger shot putter Kelsey Card. Her toss of 59 feet 9.5 inches set a Big Ten championship meet record and won Card a conference title. Meanwhile, Zach Zemek, the Big Ten record holder in the decathlon, bypassed the event in hopes of compiling more than 10 points elsewhere. He did just that, winning the pole vault in 17.3 and taking seventh, that is, in the long jump. Jake Wallenfang tied for second in the vault for the Badgers. From the collegiate track to the preps we go. A pair of sprinting victories from senior Dietrich Schwerer helped the McFarland boys track and field team bring home the team championship in Saturday's Rock Valley Conference meet at Edgerton. Schwerer won the 200-meter dash and 400 to help the Spartans total 142.5 points, topping East Troy's total of 103. Jefferson dominated the girls' meet, winning with 178 points to East Troy's 115. Senior Michaela Grant earned 4 individual titles, winning the 200, 100 hurdles, 300 hurdles, and long jump. And the Los Angeles Rams released former University of Wisconsin standout wide receiver Nick Toon last week. The former Middleton athlete signed with the Rams last September, but did not see game action in 2015, spending most of the time on the practice squad. Toon, who is now 27, last played in an NFL game in 2014 with the New Orleans Saints. For more information and all the 411 on our headlines, check out these fine websites. Stick around, we have a jam-packed show. We're right in the middle of springtime and summer's right around the corner, but believe it or not, still stuff happening on the ice. That's right, as there's still hockey and skating and all of that going on as we bring in Ben from the Oregon Ice Arena, of course, a familiar face. And Ben, thanks for joining us. Let's talk a little recap, if we could, a little bit. The Capital City Cup that went on. How did that go?
Yeah, Rich, thanks for having me again. Capital City Cup, so as our first, as Honest Promotions, we put together this hockey tournament here in the spring. We have the Junior Outlaws, which is our spring program, so we figured, hey, let's put together a tournament, invite outside teams to come in. And quite honestly, first year it went well. I think we ended up with 62 teams, which is a few less than we had originally anticipated. But I think over the weekend, we used 5 ice arenas. We were on 7 different sheets of ice. We brought in, I want to say we sold close to 700 hotel rooms for the Madison area.
Wow.
Which, if you do some math with the number of kids that we brought in and families, somewhere up in the $400,000 or $500,000 range that we brought in to the Madison area with restaurants, hotels, and all that stuff. So I think first year, huge success. Already planning for next year. Next year, we're actually going to add in other sports to it. Wisconsin, had a great tradition of the Badger State games, and over the last couple of years, that was lost. So we figure, we have the hockey down pat. We have a new tournament director. He's awesome. And with that, we're going to add in other sports and really make it like a 14-day crazy huge event here in Madison.
Very cool and very impressive and a great start as well.
Yeah.
So great to hear about all that. And talk about, too, some of the stuff going on in Oregon Ice Arena that I think even the fans will like, some improved seating out there.
Yeah, we've been hard at work. With the Outlaws and the tournament, to find time to do stuff like in between that's been kind of tough, but we've managed over this last month and a half. We've finished out our mezzanine, which is above our locker rooms. It's actually a really cool place. So we built, literally it's like a 120-foot bar that overlooks the ice rink.
Cool.
So like prime seating up there for like when we have the junior games this winter with the Whalers and then the Outlaws and whatnot. But then we built a little bar, so it's a really cool kind of intimate spot for corporate events and birthday parties. We have black curtains that section off so you can literally have your own suite, more or less.
Wow.
We've engaged with a couple different catering companies. So like corporate-wise, I think this can be really cool. That I want to start this for our entire area. I think other rinks should do it as well. But corporate events, come on in, go skate for a couple hours, an hour, 2 hours. It's really good team bonding because especially if you can't skate, then the people that can help you out. Kind of develop those friendships. Then head upstairs and listen to some music and eat some good food. Excellent.
Quickly, we've got about 20 seconds. Can you tell us quickly about the Little Buggers and the summer skate program you got?
Yeah, so the Little Buggers is going good. I try to talk about that every time I'm on here. It's every Friday night, 5:30 to 6:30. You can just register online. Just go to onicepromotions.com. You'll find all the information there. It's a fun little program. And then, so right now we're just in the midst of starting our Learn to Skate programs for the summer. It's either, I think, 4, 6, or 8 week sessions. Again, you can find that all that information. Actually, that one's on the OregonIceArena.com website. And it's a great program. They learn a lot.
Always good stuff. Ben, thanks for joining us.
Yep, thanks, Rich. Appreciate it.
We get a chance to talk to the Waunakee Warriors because they got such great sports programs going on out there, and whether it's coaches or players, parents, everybody does such a great job with their program. This time, we get to talk some Waunakee girls softball as we have with us Alicia Stotts, Nicole Hilker, Marissa Ripp from the softball team. And girls, welcome on in and let's talk about your season so far. What's been the highlight so far for you girls?
I would probably say our highlight would have to be beating Nina in our doubleheader that we played against them. We beat them both games. And I think that was just kind of a big stepping stone for us to kind of show us that we do have the capabilities to beat good teams, and like we just came together as a team and played very well against them.
Yeah, that always helps to like build confidence, especially when you can beat a really good team, and then to win a doubleheader is fantastic. So going into this season, what were some of the goals that you girls had set for yourself?
I would probably say they would have been just to like get along with each other and just build and keep getting better every day. I mean, we were a very young team going into it. There was 4 returning players this season, so we really had to like learn how to focus and like get things done and just learn how to play together because we were such a young team this year.
Wow, that's a lot of new players on the team. So yeah, that could be really tough.
Yeah.
So collectively then, girls, and you could all tell me, softball seems to be a thing that you pick up pretty early. How long have you girls been playing softball?
I've been playing softball for 13 years, so I started when I was 5.
Wow.
I've been playing for 12 years.
And I've been playing for 12 years as well.
Wow, seasoned players, I love it. That's great. So looking ahead now as the season's going along, when do the playoffs get started for you girls?
The playoffs will start like the week of the 26th. There will be a seeding meeting this Wednesday, actually. And then there's 2 rounds of playoffs.
Yeah, so they're right around the corner then. So talk about it if you could. So going into the playoffs and coming together as a team, kind of learning as you go, what have been your biggest strengths so far this year?
I'd say our strengths is like our team chemistry. We all get along really well and we all like work together. And our hitting mentality has been really good this season. We're always trying to hit the ball and like just make the good plays.
Boy, coming together as a team is so important, especially in a sport like softball. Now, how about weaknesses? I know nobody usually likes to talk about them, but what are some of the things that are still an opportunity for you to get better at?
Well, one of our weaknesses is hitting. We're hitting the ball, but we can never seem to find a spot. Lately, we've been finding more spots, and you can tell just like watching the game being played that our hitting is finally coming through.
Well, you girls definitely seem to be at least pointed in the right direction, and we thank you so much for coming in. Alicia, Nicole, Marissa, thanks for being here. We'll have more sports news right after this on Channel 57 Sports.
Thank you.
And we go from the fields and the ice rink to the pitch right now as we get set to talk some soccer as we bring in Elizabeth Kidd. She's a coach with the McFarland girls soccer team. And Elizabeth, thanks for joining us. Let's talk first a little bit about how the season is going so far for the girls. What have you all been up to?
Yeah, the season has been really great so far. We have so far 8 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. We have about 6 games left in our season before postseason begins in June. And we are really looking forward to those games coming up. We have Edgewood and Stoughton, and then one of the biggest games is going to be at the end of the season against Bigfoot, and that will really be for the conference championship.
Nice, and it's always nice, to be involved in that and have that successful. That's a great record so far. What do you think? There's so much that goes into programs, whether it's coaching or from the parents. How do you build a successful program like you guys have been able to do?
Yeah, so we have been very fortunate. When I think of successful programs, I think of 3 big things that play a big part in a successful program, and one of those is just being in a wonderful community with very supportive parents who support both the academics and the athletes. And then also a wonderful athletic director. Specifically in McFarland, we have Paul Ackley, who really works hard to connect our teachers and athletes and parents and coaches to support everyone involved. And then last but not least, a very fun and supportive coaching staff that really wants to see success both in the classroom and on the field.
Yeah, it's great when that all comes together like that, and the academics are so much a part of it, I've realized, in sports as well. So all of that great to hear, and great that you guys have like a good philosophy going forward. Talk about, again, we'll go back to the season. You guys have a great record so far, probably full of a lot of big moments. What's been your favorite moment of the season so far?
Yeah, when reflecting back on some big moments and kind of thinking of a common theme that goes throughout a lot of those big moments, those all happen to do with, seeing girls, young women working together and gaining confidence while also understanding and seeing their individual roles in something that is bigger than themselves. And that is, I think, as a coach, a teacher, something that's amazing to see is working with adolescents. And yeah.
Absolutely, watching them grow and like you said, being a part of a team, always great stuff. So, Coach Kidd, congratulations on a great season so far. Good luck on winning that conference championship, and thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you.
There are a lot of Cardinals in the area, but very few fly as high as they do out at Middleton High School. As we get to talk some Middleton sports right now, as we bring in Perry Hibner, the communications director out at Middleton High School. And Perry, thanks for coming in again. And let's talk about some of the spring, summer sports you got going on. Let's start with baseball. How's that baseball team doing?
They're doing very well. Actually had a heartbreaking loss to Sun Prairie on Thursday, 4-3, gave up 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th. But they're 1 game behind Janesville Craig and Sun Prairie in the loss column with 2 weeks left in the Big 8 regular season. All 3 teams are ranked in the top 10. I know Coach Tom Schmidt is thinking another state tournament appearance would be their first since 2013, looking at a possible state championship, which would be their first since 2003.
Wow, great stuff. And I know, too, they're not the only successful ones going right now. Boys and girls track are doing really well, too, aren't they?
They are. Actually, the Big 8 conference meet was Friday night. Both teams claimed conference championships. For the boys, it's their 4th consecutive conference title. People who led the way were Perrin Hagee. He set a meet record in the 1600, while Samantha Valentine did the same thing in the girls 1600. So I know both those teams are also looking at top 5 finishes at the state meet in Division I in lacrosse in early June.
Excellent stuff. And so they're doing all good. The boys tennis teams, boys golf teams always seem to be perennial powers. So is that the case again this year?
It certainly is with the boys golf team. They've been ranked number 1 in state for the last 3 to 4 weeks. In fact, I think it's been about a month since they actually lost a meet or an invitational. They won the prestigious University Ridge meet Metro Shootout this past week. They've got 4 seniors in the lineup: Brady Thomas, Emmett Erb, Joey Levin, and Nils Arneson. I know Tom Sabalka's thinking they're going to win their 5th state championship this year.
How's the girls soccer team doing out on the pitch?
Another strong team as well. So they lost one game early in the year to Verona in Big 8 play, so they're a half game behind Verona with 2 games left for each team left in the regular season. But Mary Duffy has a very strong group of forwards led by Maya Shea, Kristen Redelkoffer, and they have a University of Wisconsin recruit and Grace Douglas in the back. So again, I also think they're looking at a possible state tournament berth in Milwaukee in June.
Perry, you're great at getting out a lot of information quickly. You've mentioned a lot of teams. Which of those teams do you think has maybe the best shot at winning a state title?
Probably the boys golf team. Again, like I said, they've been ranked for most of the year. They're a perennial state tournament team. They've got a lot of experience. All those seniors I talked about have been on the team since freshmen. So I think we're looking at University Ridge being a state championship possibility for them.
We all know that the schools shut down during the summers, but the athletes keep on going. A lot of them. What does the summer hold for the Middleton athletes?
Actually, a lot. So for the 4th year, we have a summer conditioning program that takes place 3 to 4 days a week. We have more than 500 students participate that in the summer. So I think it's one reason why our sports winter, spring, and fall are always so strong.
That is great participation, and it always leads to great success for you guys. So congrats on all that. Good luck with all the state championships coming up.
Thanks, Rich. Really appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks for being here. We'll have more right after this on Channel 57 Sports. And joining us now on the sports news, boy, oh boy, this is very exciting. We have Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana, who is joining us, his wife Jennifer, and also Dr. Suzanne Steinbaum, and they are here to talk to us about not football so much as we are going to be talking about breakaway from heart disease and a movement for everybody to know about their heart health history and their family's history with us. And Joe, Jennifer, Dr. Suzanne Steinbaum, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll start with Joe and Jennifer, if you could. Tell us about your personal connection, if you will, to heart disease.
Well, I'll start. My father had a quadruple bypass at the age of 59 and then passed away at the age of 60, which was a big signal to me that heart disease obviously runs in our family, and it's something that we have to watch out for.
And for me, I was diagnosed. I had my family history in front of me, which I kind of ignored for a long period of time until after I retired. I went to the doctor, a routine checkup, and next thing you know, I had high blood pressure and high cholesterol, and 2 big risk factors for heart disease. And started looking back at my family history. My grandfather passed away at 54 from heart disease. 2 of my mom's siblings had heart attacks in their early 50s to mid 50s. So it was there. I just didn't believe, like most Americans, that it would ever happen to me, especially at that age.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Like in my family, it's the same way. I just recently had a stroke about a month ago, and it's all through family history and high blood pressure and all of that. So it definitely is a huge factor. And Joe, I got to imagine with you being a professional athlete, having an active lifestyle, it had to be pretty shocking to get a diagnosis that, hey, you had high cholesterol and high blood pressure. How did you handle that?
I think it was difficult at first. Knowing that I had to start making some changes in my lifestyle. Obviously I had a great coach beside me with Jennifer and helping me make those changes. And I always like to say the best thing you can do is for changing, or nobody likes to change their diet. So what I did was, which I had success with, was start with portion control, because I was like everyone else. I want food and I want a lot of it, especially when you're playing. So. And that's why this was a great campaign for us, and the team that's put together here is awesome between Amgen, the American Heart Association, and Schwinn. We're trying to get an awareness out there about find out what your heart history is in your family and in your own, and also get active. And here it's getting active through cycling. There's events on our website, breakawayfromheartdisease.com. That are coming up. You can find ways to get involved. If you can't be at them, simple thing to do is take a picture of yourself on a bike or a stationary bike, upload it to the website, get entered into a contest to win 2 Schwinn bikes, and it also triggers a donation to the American Heart Association. So we're just happy to be a part of this movement.
Yeah, and being a part of it, one thing, I guess, my question would also be, how did you first become a part, break away from heart disease? And then also, how can our viewers become a part of it?
Well, we were approached by Amgen because they had heard about I've been talking about my situation before, about being a part of this. And as soon as we saw what it involved and what it was about, and knowing our family history, knowing the things that we are trying to educate our kids about at an early age, because of their risk, basically because of our histories, it was a perfect fit for us.
And Doc, now as we turn to you a little bit, talk to us if you could about the impact of heart disease in the United States and actually why it's so important to actually know your own family history.
Heart disease is the #1 killer of all Americans. About 40% of people will have some form of heart disease, and it really comes down to the risk factors: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, smoking. Family history is so significant in this. But here's the piece of it: 80% of the time it's preventable. If you go to your doctor and get your numbers checked, change your lifestyle with diet and exercise and sometimes medication if necessary, you can prevent heart disease. That piece of family history, though, allows us an insight into understanding how significant your risk is, and getting checked as soon as possible is critical.
Yeah, and Doc, I would say, it's also very important that you do see your doctor. You just don't want to rush into changing your diet and exercising right away without seeing a physician, don't you?
You have to go see your doctor and really understand your risk factors. And from that moment forward, you have to really put your mind to it and change your life. Get healthy by eating a heart-healthy diet and also by moving.
Yeah, I think this is great stuff for all of our viewers, and so they can get involved in all of that. And before we let you go, I just did want to say I was always a big Joe Montana fan, but my grandfather, you were his all-time favorite. So it's a real honor. Yeah, real honor to be talking to all of you today. We thank you so much for joining us here on the Sports News, and hopefully we can get a lot of our viewers involved. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Our thanks to Rick and all the boys over at the Red Zone on Regent Street. And our thanks to you for watching, as well as it's been my pleasure to bring you the sports news right here on Channel 57 Sports.